Hello everyone, welcome to the video tutorial series of the web development. I am your instructor Varsha Tak. Let's start our today's lecture. So today we are starting the new unit, that is unit number 3, JavaScript. So at the end of this video you will be able to learn about the introduction, that is about the task performed by the client-side script, pros and cons of the client-side script versus the server-side script. As a JavaScript is a client-side scripting language, so we will see this details about this client-side scripting language. Then we will see the JavaScript variables, and then we will see the loop, and that is if, else conditions, etc. Now introduction. So for a web page, HTML supplies the document content and structure while CSS provides the presenting styling. Okay, so HTML supplies the document and structure, CSS provides the presentation style, and in addition, the client-side script can control the browser actions associated with the web page. So remember this difference related to this three technology. HTML defines the structure, CSS defines the layouts, and JavaScript defines the action. Client-side scripts are almost written in the JavaScript language to control the browser's actions. Okay, so it is the client-side scripting language, so it defines the browser's actions. Client-side scripting can make the web pages more dynamic and the more responsive. Okay, so if you want to define the more responsive page, so you have to use the JavaScript. Now, which are the tasks that is performed by the JavaScript? So, checking the correctness of the user input, it monitoring user events and specifying the reactions. It does the replacing and the updating parts of the page. It also changing the styles and position of the displayed element dynamically. Okay, it modifies the page in response to the event. So whenever any events will occur, it will modify the page according to that particular event. The getting the browser information. So if you want to get the browser information, you can use the JavaScript. Means you can use the client side script, making the web page different depending on the browsers and the browser features, and generating the HTML code for parts of the pages. So these are the various tasks that is performed by the client side scripts. Now let's see the different advantages and disadvantages of the client side scripting language. Which are the advantages? Let's see. Allow for the more interactivity by immediately responding to the user actions. Okay, so if you want to define the immediate user actions response, that's at that time you can define the this client side scripting language. It executes quickly. Why? Because it doesn't require any trip to the server. As in the request response message, what will happen whenever you are defining any request, it will goes to the server. Server will reply according to your request, and that it will come as a response to you, and that you can see on your browser. But in client-side scripting language, it doesn't require anything because it's just executed by the browser. The web browser uses its own resources and is the burden on the server. Okay, so there is no burden on the server because it is executed by the browser. It saves the network bandwidth because we don't have to do the trip to the server. That's why. Now, what are the disadvantages of this client-side scripting language? Code is loaded in the browser, so it will be visible to the client. Okay, so why? Because code is loaded to the browser, because it is evaluated by the browser. That's why we have to load the code in the browser. Code is modifiable. Local files and databases cannot be accessed. And here user is able to disable the client-side scripting language. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of the client-side scripting language. Now let's see the difference between the server-side scripting language and the client-side scripting language. This is also the one of the most ambiguous. So let's see about this. Server-side scripting is used to create the dynamic pages based on the number of the condition when the user browser makes the request to the server. Okay, whereas the client-side scripting is used when the user browser already has all the code and the page is altered on the basis of the user's input. Okay, so this is used to create the dynamic pages, and it is used when the browser already has all the codes. The web server executes the server-side scripting that produces the page to be sent to the browser. Now here the web browser executes the client-side server, so that resides at the user's computer. Then third difference is what the server-side scripting is used to connect to the databases and files that resides on the web server only. Here the client-side scripting cannot be used to connect to the database and files on the web server because it is executed by the client only, and it is loaded in the web browser only. Now next difference is several server resources can be accessed by the server-side scripting language and browser resources can be accessed by the client-side scripting language. For example, PHP, and here for example the JavaScript. Server-side scripting can't be blocked by the user, but this a client-side scripting language can be blocked by the user because it is executed by the browser, it is loaded in the browser, so it can be blocked by the browser, blocked by the user. Here these are the different examples of the server-side scripting language, whether it is a PHP, JSP, ASP, ASP.NET, Ruby, Perl, and many more technologies are there that are the server-side scripting language. Here JavaScript, VBScript, etc. are the client-side scripting language. Now let's see the script tag. So script tag is used to define the client-side script. A script element either contains the scripting statement or it points to the external script file through the SRC attribute. So you can define the internal style, internal this JavaScript also, or you can define the external JavaScript also. So for that you have to use the SRC attribute to link that particular JavaScript. Here you can see this is the example. Here you can define this script type is equal to text JavaScript and your JavaScript code will be defined over here in the same document. And if you have defined the another file for this JavaScript, then you have to use the script tag like script src path to JavaScript. So here you have to define the total path of that particular file that you have saved with .js extension. Okay, so these are the two different ways to defining the JavaScript. You can define in this same document, or you can define the different in the different document and you have to link that particular document. Now next is the JavaScript variables. Variables can contain the several types of value. Here you can see these are the different types of the JavaScript variables: number, string, boolean, null, function, and object. Okay, so here numeric value, number means string, that means the character wrapped in the quotes, for example Raj code, so this is the string value. Boolean, that is has the two value, that is true or false. Null, that means an empty variable. Function, that means a function name. And object, that is an object. Now attributes of the JavaScript variable, it is a case sensitive. Okay, so like here is the C identifier, it is a case sensitive. Okay, so here my number, it is in small and M capital and N is a capital, then it is also different variables. It cannot contain punctuation space or the start with a digit. Okay, so it cannot contain any punctuation, it cannot contain any space, and it cannot start with a digit. You can write var1, but you cannot write one var. It cannot be a JavaScript reserve keyword. So you cannot use the JavaScript reserve keyword as in this C identifier. Now let's see the conditions. So, okay, so different conditions are there. If conditions. So all of you are aware about this thing in because you have learned in this C programming also. Okay. So here if a greater than 10, then alert a is greater than that 10. Okay. Or you can write the document.write also. Then ternary operator, that is max a greater than b, that question mark a colon b. So if a greater than b is there, this value will be executed. And if b is if this condition is false, this b will be executed. Then switch statement, switch expressions. Okay, so here you can define the case and the case name and colon. Here you have to write the code to be executed, and here this is a break statement to prevent the fallback. Now next one is the loop. Okay, so here you can see these three different types of loops are there: the for loop, while loop, and the do while loop. Here it is used when you know how many repetitions you want to do. So you know the exact repetition, so at that time you can use this for loop. So syntax for the for loop is a for initialize, then condition, and then increment. So here you can see the for x is equal to 0, x less than equal to less than 10, and x plus plus. So normal way that you are writing in the C, yeah, same way you can write over here in the JavaScript. Then next, loops through block of the code while condition is true. So here the while condition, example while x less than 10, and then here you can write the code. Then do while loop, it execute at least once and then repeat while the condition is true. Okay, so this do while loop will be executed at least one whether the condition is false also. Here this condition, if the condition is false, this loop will not be executed. The same difference that you have learned in the C. Okay, so syntax do while condition. So here example, that is a do. First you have to write the code, and after that you have to write this conditions. Okay, so these are the different loops that is available in the JavaScript as in the C and different if and else conditions. Now let's see the program related to this, so you will have the better idea about this. Now let's see over here. Here you can see this is the basic program for defining the JavaScript variable. Here you can see we have just used the basic HTML document content. Here HTML is there. After that I have defined the body in which I have defined this H2, that is a JavaScript variables, and here I have defined the PID demo, and here I have defined the script. Okay, you can define the script anywhere in the body or in the head tag. Okay, so here PID demo is there. Okay, and here you can see right now we have not used this ID demo. Let's see it later on. Here you can see this script variable, how to define the variable. So here how to define the variable X, where you have to use the var function, var as a keyword. So where X is equal to 5, where Y is equal to Z. Now here you have created the third one variable where Z is equal to X into Y. So it will do this arithmetic calculation and it will show you the output, that is document.write Z. So by default it will display in the window. So let's see the output of this first. Okay, so here you can see this heading that we have given JavaScript variable, and for here 5 6 are that is 30. So like this way you can use this JavaScript variable. Okay, now next let's see this arithmetic calculations using the JavaScript. Okay, so here you can see this in the HTML we have defined this title in the head tag, that is JavaScript arithmetic operator, and in the body portion in the heading 1 performing arithmetic operations, and after that we have defined the script tag in which I have defined the two variable, that is the a is equal to 12 and b is equal to 3. You can take the user defined value also, that we will see later on how to take the user defined value. Okay, now here you can see I have defined the different variables, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulation. So we will do the addition of this two subtractions or multiplication and division of this two value. So that will we will store the result of this in this particular value. So here you can see addition is equal to a plus b, subtraction that is equal to a minus b, multiplication a into b. Here you have to write the arithmetic expressions for evaluating this arithmetic formula. Okay, so divisions a divided by b and modulus a modulo b, so it calculates the remainder. Now how to write? So you can write using the document.write. Document.write is the method using that you can write on the window. Okay, so on your browser. So document.write additions of plus a. So here you are concatenating. So plus a plus, so that means here the value of a. So that will be 12. So addition of 12 and 3 is equal to addition plus br. Here we have used the br tag to just for the displaying this output in the new line. Okay, so here you can see same way I have written document.write subtraction of this 12 and 3 is this whatever the value, that is 12 minus 3, that is 9, and the output will be in the next line. Now let's see the output of this. See here. Okay, so addition of 12 and 3 is 15, 12 and 3 is 9, multiplication is 36, division is 4, and modulus is 0. Now suppose I am removing the break, so what will happen? Let's see. Suppose I am removing this break. Okay, so just execute this. See, it is in the same line. Okay, so that's why we have given the break in this JavaScript as a HTML element. Okay, so that you can see the output in the new line. Now next see this if else conditions. Okay, so here you can see we have used the if condition. So if that means if the condition is true, then the whatever you have written after that condition, that will be executed. So here if a greater than 10, then the document.write value of the a is greater than 10. Here you can see. we have written 20, so it will give the output value of A is greater than 10. And if the condition is false, it will do nothing because we don't have provided the else statement. Now next I have defined the if else condition. In if else conditions, if the condition is false, it will execute the else part, and if the condition is true, it will execute the if part. So here you can see the variable A is equal to 20. If A modulo 2 is equal to 0, then document.write A is an even number and document.write A is an odd number. Here if else if, so you can write the multiple conditions using the if else if. So here variable A is equal to 20. If A is equal to 10, document.write A is equal to 10. Else if A is equal to 15, document.write A is equal to 15. And if A is equal to 20, then you can write the A is equal to 20. And if it is not like that, A is not equal to 10, 15 or 20. So suppose I am changing the value over here. Suppose I am changing 1. So it will give the output as a, it is not equal to 10, 15 or 20. Now next is a switch statement. So here you can see in switch statement, as you are writing in the C, you have to write over here. Here I have defined the two variables, the variable grade and variable result. Okay, so switch, you have to write like this, switch as a keyword, and in which you have to define the grade, that is the variable that will be passed over here. Here I have defined the case A, So here it is either this character constant, so that's why it is in this single quote. Result is equal to excellent. If case B, if the grade is B, the result will be good, and if C, not bad. But if it is not from the ABC, it will define the no grade. So here I have written the T, that means it will give the output no grade. And you can write the document.write result. So now let's see the output for this. See here, if conditions value of A is greater than 10, else conditions A is an even number because it is at 20. A is not equal to 10, 15, 21 because we have provided 21. And in switch statement, we have defined the T, that's why it is no grade. But if you have defined the A, so answer will be excellent. See over here. Got it? Here this is excellent. So like this way you can use this this if conditions also and switch statement. Now let's see about the loop. Here you can see the for loop. In the script I have defined the for I is equal to 1 I less than 5 I plus plus document.write I, and again here this is for the new line. So it will just write 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, here the while loop is that in which I have defined I is equal to 11, and until and unless the I is less than or equal to 15, what it will do? It will define the document or write I. Okay, so it will write 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Same way for the do while loop. So variable I is equal to 21, do, that is document.write I, until I less than is equal to 25. So 21, 22, 23, 24 and 25 will be the output. So let's see the output of this. So here for loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, while loop 11 to 15 and do while loop 21 to 25. So got this? So like this way you can use the do while loop and for loop. You can use the if condition, else if condition, if else conditions, and if else if later also, and you can use the switch statement, and you can define the this JavaScript variables. Okay, so in this video we have learned about the different tasks that is performed by the client-side script, which are the advantages and disadvantages of the client-side scripting language. And then we have learned about the client-side script versus the server-side script. So what is the difference between those two? Then we have learned about the variables, and we have learned about the loop, in which we have seen the for, while and do while, and we have learned about the conditional statement, that is the if, else if, and else if later, and the switch statement. So this is all about this lecture. Remaining interesting topic we will cover in the next lecture. Thank you for watching. We will meet in the next lecture. Thank you.